afternoon. All right, let's move along now, Tim, to the injury report. All right. And Rob Domofsky put this out earlier, said Quay Walker with the calf back on the field after pulling out of yesterday's practice before it even started. Many people are like, what even happened with that calf injury? I'll play a clip here in a minute, but essentially what Matt LaFleur said was he said it didn't feel right, so they were playing it really, really safe, and they were going to try to give it a go today, so obviously they did that. We also talked about Malik Willis being a little banged up. He was added to the injury report yesterday with an ankle. He practiced today, so that made me feel a little bit better. And the did not participate, there's still Dontavion Wicks with the calf, Nick Nyman with the pec, and Lucas Van Ness with the foot. So here is what Coach LaFleur had to say about Quay Walker. If you'll give me a screen grab here, Tim, I greatly appreciate it. This is what Coach LaFleur had to say about Quay Walker and just kind of the step he's taken this year as well. Here we go.
Had to start yesterday, but then didn't practice. What happened there?
He was feeling a little something, so we were a little bit cautious with him. But the plan and goal is for him to go out there today and just see how he feels.
I know Jeff's talked about it a few times, just how much have you seen him grow over the last, Jeff's been here for 16 months, 18 months, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job, man. I think his play speaks for itself, but just in all the things that you guys don't always get a chance to see, I think there's a reason he was voted as captain. And I think that's even given him more confidence to get out and lead. I thought just he's had so many great examples of what it takes and being a great leader. I think last week in that game, just the mental toughness and poise that it took not to retaliate in a situation. I thought that was as critical as anything, but it was a great example of just his leadership and how much growth he's shown over the course of these 4 years.
I could not agree more, Tim. I don't know how you feel about it, man, but the fact that, and everybody's seen it on national television, DK chirping, Quay just giving him that mean mug. DK kept kept chirping at him. I about said twerking. That was Romeo.
That was wrong.
Kept chirping, kept just giving him the mean mug. DK sticks his finger in his face mask and pushes him on his forehead or his eye or whatever. Quay didn't even retaliate. Like, I was just like, let's freaking go, man. They put a quarter in DK and let him run with it. It cost them. That was a huge penalty, in my opinion, too.
Oh, yeah.
Quay Walker, man, he's taken a step forward. I want to be very clear. I don't see Quay, and Tim may disagree. I don't see Quay as a top 3 stack backer in the league. I don't see him as a top 5 stack backer in the league. Top 10, possibly. But I see him more in that 15 range. And you know what? For the right price, I want that dude in the middle of my defense. I do. Yep. I'm just not willing to pay top 3 stack backer money for that. With that being said, man, he's night and day from last year, really his entire career. Like he just seems like he's playing more fundamentally sound. He's being more aggressive on the underneath stuff, not quite to the level. When I watch the tape, I don't see the tape and go, all right, Quay's got it now. He's doing it now. He's not doing it to that level, but he's definitely improved. And like Matt said in the presser as well, he's got the C on his chest. He's got the mental stuff taken care of. His teammates absolutely love him. Seems like he's always available. How many times have we seen him play hurt? Yeah. I think he's taken that next step. The second half of the 2025 season, Tim, I would not be surprised if he puts himself in that conversation as a top 10 top linebacker. I'm just not there yet, but I am very, very excited to see how he finishes this season, man. What do you think about it?
I'm with you on that. I think that's fair also. You guys know I'm a Quay Walker stan for sure. Always have been since he was drafted. But I do think there's a lot of validity to the fact that he might not be in that top 5 to 10 range just yet, but he's knocking on the door, right? And you talk about the maturity. It's not just, we can talk about the mental maturity and the emotional maturity that he's made, but his maturity as a player. We talked about him being hesitant, the past couple of seasons, like, why don't you just hit that gap or trust yourself and play free, play aggressive? We're seeing that now. And I think it's because, he feels comfortable in this Hafley scheme. I think he knows his role and fully accepts it. You see his pre-snap diagnosis and communication of plays has definitely improved. And even with this little, tweaked calf, or, I don't even want to call it an injury, but something didn't feel right before practice. And rather than grinding through it, you're stepping into that maturity that as a veteran now in this league and going, hey, something ain't right. Let me step out. Let me get some treatment, and let's try this again tomorrow. And lo and behold, he's on the field today practicing. So, yeah, man, I can't say enough about Quay Walker. And I'm with you. I don't know if from a business standpoint you want to throw that top 5 to 10 linebacker money at a guy like him. However, I do think Quay would love to stay here. I don't think we have to do anything but just not insult him with a contract offer. And, maybe he's likely to sign that and stick around for a few years. But I feel a lot like you do, Clay. I don't think there's anything wrong with keeping number 7 in Green Bay, at least for the next handful of seasons, especially if he closes this year out the way he started it, man. Just playing great football.
Yeah, no, I think it's very well said. And like you said, in terms of the money, there's already an offer on the table that's been confirmed, right? Probably by Quay's camp. I can't imagine the team threw that information out, although I do feel like it would help the team and their image by saying, hey, look, we offered him a contract. Now the pressure's kind of on his camp. But I think what Quay's looking at is like he wants more than the offer he got, and he's probably betting on himself on a week-to-week basis. He knows that offer's there. I can't imagine Goody gave that offer, said, accept it now or it's off the table. Probably didn't. It's just, hey, here's what we're thinking, right? Yep. And now Quay's going, if I can go out there and take that next step, maybe Goody comes back to the table with an extra $5 million guaranteed or something, right? And get just a little bit more.
Use that initial offer as fuel to really, continue to grind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean you go in there and go, you guys are lowballing me. No, he's probably like, hey, man, appreciate the offer. Let me think on it. And you just go out there and work your ass off, right? And show them on the field that you're worth more than that. And that's really what I want to see, as a fan. And not like Quay cares what I think or anybody else does, but it's just as a fan, it's like, I just want him to take that next step. Because again, if we lock him up to top 5 linebacker money and we pass up on the next Edger and Cooper in the draft, the defense could have been a lot better and we could have reallocated those sources somewhere else, right, to help the team. But you guys know how I feel, man. Stack backer, predominantly the Mike backer, and he does wear the green dot. It doesn't mean he's playing Mike every time. But when you hear me say a stack backer's tier 2 importance, I'm talking about a guy right in the middle of the defense, not someone who's just a quirky little, he's just going to rush the quarterback and he sucks at everything else type thing, right? I want somebody like Quay that's built 6'4". He's got blazing speed. He could cover the seam. That's his superpower in my opinion. I've watched enough Quay Walker tape to know there's not many other linebackers in the league that I would rather have covering the 2 to 3 on a Tampa 2 look down the seam and match covers. Like he's good at that. It's just instincts underneath. And I think he's starting to put that together. It's just not quite there completely for me. But when you look at the stats here, Tim, from a tackle standpoint, and these are all linebackers, so keep in mind this does include edge defenders, although I can't imagine there's edge defenders with this many tackles. So this is probably mostly stack backers on NFL Pro. Quay Walker is tied for 11th in the league in tackles. And notice here, guys, he's only played 7 games. So Zach Bond, who's ahead of him, are actually tied for him, right? Also, Tyrell Dotson, Robert Spillane, that's Dump Truck Spillane, Bobby Okereke, if I'm saying that right, Alex Singleton, Cedric Gray, we talked about him in the draft there last year or the year before, Demario Davis, Jamie and Sherwood, Bobby Wagner, and even Jordan Brooks. All those guys have played 8 games, or in Jordan Brooks's case, he played his 9th game last night on Thursday Night Prime. So I say that because he's showing right now, Quay is showing as tied for 11th most tackles in the league. Not that tackles are everything, but, it is an important statistic for stack backers. If you were to remove the guys that with 8 games here, Tim, you're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys ahead of him. He's probably first in the league, tied for first, or right around second in tackles on the season. He's been absolutely awesome in bringing down the ball carrier. Now, when you talk about stops, which is a little bit more important stat, of course, it would crap out on me. Imagine that. When you're talking about stops from that standpoint, let's see where he ranks there. Hopefully everything just geared back up. We're good. So when you look at stops, again, what's a stop? It is when you're the guy who took down the ball carrier that caused a negative play for the offense. That doesn't mean it was a tackle for a loss. It just means negative in EPA. okay, is essentially what it means. Think of it as that play was a victory given the down distance situation for the defense. And these guys were the person who brung the ball carrier down, whether it was a pass or a run in that situation. So when you sort that out, Quay is sitting 19th there. He's actually tied for 17th best. And once again, look at all the guys ahead of him that's played one extra game. So when we finish this game on Sunday and everybody gets their bye weeks out of the way, we're going to have a little bit better idea, Tim, of just where Quay stacks up in stops. I think he's going to be top 5, most likely. So now you're talking about important tackles. It's basically what a stop is. It's an important tackle because sometimes you could tackle a ball carrier 9 yards down the field. You missed your gap initially, chase them down from behind, tackled them. Boy, it looks good in the stat column, but that was a negative play for you, right? These are extremely positive plays for Quay. And the fact that he's got 32 stops on the year, playing one less game than almost everybody that's above him on this list, that's a big thing, man.
Trending up, and that validates your point about him getting better, in these run fits and biting down, being aggressive near the line of scrimmage, gap integrity. You can talk about Quay flipping the hips and staying in the hip pocket of a tight end or somebody running downfield. It's another thing to know when to, start, stop, shoot, and be aggressive and wrap that ball carrier up. And that's a part of his game that I think, it has taken a year or two to kind of marry that up with his coverage skills as a linebacker. But I think it's true. He's seeing the game quicker and better, and we know he's a tackling machine. So he's trusting himself more in this scheme, man. And I agree, man. I think after this week, possibly even after the Philly game, we'll be having that conversation about him maybe moving up this list of top backers for sure.
Yeah, the Philly game is going to be a great measuring stick for several players on this team to see how they respond. One being Jordan Love, right? You talking about prime time, Monday Night Football against the reigning Super Bowl champs, who just, by the way, are they're not the number 1 seed, they're the number 2 seed, I believe, as it sits right now in the NFC. If that's the case, this is the battle for the number 1 seed in the NFC at Lambeau. I mean, come on, dude. It's going to be a great test for Jordan Love. It's going to be a great test for Micah Parsons on the big stage. How does he respond against a team that runs the ball pretty well? I think they got their running game going last week with Saquon Barkley. Seemed like every time I looked over at the TV and seen the Red Zone channel, he was running free down the field for 40 yards. So it's going to be a great, great test. Also, Carrington Valentine, too.
Oh, yeah.
Not that we want to overlook the Carolina Panthers game. Listen, go 1-0 every week. I got you. But boy, next week's matchup, it's going to be high stakes. It's going to be awesome. Another stat I want to point out, excuse me, he's got 1.5 sacks on the year. Quay does. When you sort this by quarterback pressure, Tim, some of this stuff we're gonna do here. Excuse me, man. The Rona's still hanging on. We're gonna go qualified defenders only to kind of get some of the noise out of the equation. We go quarterback pressure percentage. Keep in mind, some of these guys are edge defenders as well, but you'll see the inflated numbers with the stack backers. You go down here on this list, Quay Walker is 21st in quarterback pressure percentage amongst linebackers. And again, I just think he's one of those dudes that if you need him to rush the quarterback, I said that him covering vertically is probably his strength, Tim. But in all honesty, I kind of agree with Papa Scoot, Christian Watson's dad, when he said he felt like, I don't want to kind of paraphrase, and you guys double check his tweet, but he said something along the lines of, I think Quay Walker is actually a pass rusher. Sure. If you were to line Quay up at the edge position and teach him how to do that, that might be what he's best at. We just don't need that right now. And we love the approach of bringing that illusion of complexity and actually firing him as a blitzer in a stack backer situation. I think he's only got 8 pass rushes this year, I believe. So, or 8 pressures, whatever it was. But 8 pressures, and see if it shows. It may not.
And really,
show.
we've only seen those A-gap mug looks where they're sending them or something in the middle. We haven't really seen him off the edge. Right. I think that's a good point.
Yeah. And he's got 35 pass rushes, it looks like, with 8 pressures at a 22.9% clip there. So, again, I'm excited for Quay, man. I think he's got an opportunity to do special things this year for the remainder of the season. I just want to see how he finishes for sure. So, anything else on Quay you want to add there, Tim? Anything at all?
My favorite Bulldog, for sure.
I know.
Love you, Quay. Keep doing your thing, man.
You've been a fan of him since day one, man. I remember, dude. I remember.
A1 since day one. Big shout out to Quay. His rookie year, he took time to say hello, and I've gotten to know him a little bit, off and on over the years, and ever since I moved up to Green Bay, and just a guy that you're really rooting for, right? Obviously, we're Packer fans first. Players come and go, but Quay's a guy that I'd really like to see get that second contract. I'd like to see him here for at least the near future. And, I think, the tail is in the tape. You can talk about that rookie season, and you've seen steps year after year after year. Here we are in year 4, and Quay is making a damn good case for himself to stay here in Green Bay for sure.
Yeah, Joe Pack Joe, North Carolina, I'm assuming he says NC here. Only linebacker I'd comfortably take over Quay are Zach Bond and Fred Warner. See, Joe, I'm not there. I'm kind of nowhere near there right now. Although I can't think of any other backers right offhand that I'd take him over Quay. Those are two you definitely mentioned. I can see your point. But I don't know, man. It feels like either fans are where you're at, or they're kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, I don't know any fans that don't like Quay. You know what I mean, Tim? I don't see people going, get Quay out of the lineup. They seem to have kind of embraced the fact that they think, okay, he is a good linebacker. I think he's got to the point where he's a good linebacker. And
Absolutely.
Those aren't falling off trees either. So
no, it's true. And Zach Bond, Wisconsin's own, we like some Zach Bond. And then, you talk about Fred Warner. Fred Warner is not playing football anytime soon. So I think it's valid to want to stick with Quay right now. But I also feel that sentiment a little bit, right? Like there's a handful of names you might think of if you're talking about, Quay not getting that contract and he's ultimately gone. Who would you look to? I can see that having a little bit of validity, but I'm a huge Quay fan. You know it. No secret. I hope he stays here forever, man. Retires a Packer.
Definitely. So if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments what you think about Quay Walker. Would you pay him top 3 money? Would you pay him top 5 money, top 10 money? Maybe you're not a fan. Maybe you're the super fan, right? Let us know in the comments what you think about Quay Walker in terms of moving forward. He's still young. He's got the right attitude. He's matured a lot. We talk about that. Him working on himself, the meditation and stuff in the offseason. That allows him to allow DK Metcalf to do all the things he did to try to trigger him the other night, and he just kept his cool. Matt LaFleur thinks the world of him. Matt LaFleur and his coaching staff put the C on his chest as a captain. That says a ton. Goody obviously likes him. They've already got a contract on the table. It just seems like they're still a little bit apart there. So really, really excited. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. And also hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. 2-0 for this says Quay's growth has from being allowed to play and not need to think, and also the maturity has calmed him down. Completely agree, man. Completely agree. Yeah. Steve DTA in the chat said Quay needs paid big time. So there you go. There's another person in the chat that thinks pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
That's right. I like this one too, man. Holmes came in here and just threw up the spooky emojis, and me and Tim said,
I don't give a shit if it's Halloween.
We got a game Sunday.
Just another Friday in the National Football League, baby.
I do like the skeleton down there at the bottom, man. Just throwing that hip out. That's going to be me when we get.
It looked like Rome right before the twerk move, right? We've got.
That's going to be me tonight if we get minimal trick or treaters. So I'm gonna have that whole bowl of candy all night long, dude. I'm gonna fall asleep with Starburst wrappers on my chest, bro. It's gonna be
so.
Awesome.
You like the Starburst too, like I do, right?
Starburst. Look,
I'm always grabbing for those for sure. Yes, sir.
Starburst sponsor the show. You know what I'm saying?